Hey, and just a quick reminder that the audio-only versions of these Vital MX interviews are available on the Vital MX podcast page. Search for it anywhere you get your pods and let your friends know about it. What's up, guys? Dark Side here from Vital MX. Today I'm with Eli Tomac, our champion from 2022. What's going on, Eli?
Oh, I've just been spending a couple weeks down in Florida, out here at the Star Racing facility. We're dialing in our bike, getting some good riding and testing in, and that's what's going on right now.
Well, do me a favor and sum up 2021 for me. Multiple championships, some overseas wins, new team. How do you sum that up?
Best word is best year yet.
Okay.
Best year I've had. So that's it, man. And it was just a journey, and it was an enjoyable one. You know, anytime you get those wins, it's an enjoyable journey, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. And think back now to win both championships, it was a special thing for us. So, I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm grateful for all of it.
Awesome. Look, you spent a little bit of time now on the 23, and I talked to you a little bit about this in Paris, that Kyle Chisholm helped do some early development to get it close to the 22 and how you like that bike. What do you think of the 23 so far? What stands out? What's different?
Well, the first thing you notice on this bike is the weight saving, and that's a big deal. Just change of direction is a lot easier on it. That's by far my favorite part of the bike, is the weight saving. And then I would say there's some similarities to the chassis itself, but there's some things that also are different. We weren't able to go straight to our old base settings. We did have to do some tuning around it. So it's different that way, but we're in a good spot now. And like I said, the change of direction on this bike is really good. So I'm excited to put it to the test in Supercross. I think that's where it's going to shine.
That's kind of what I've been hearing. I heard the chassis is not quite as rigid. Maybe it turns a little better.
The lean is really easy on this bike. And that's what I'm talking about, is what you feel is the lean angle. Initiating your turn is a lot easier on this bike compared to the last one.
Okay. So it's kind of, as I mentioned, I think I said this in Paris, it's kind of scary how good you were this year. If this bike's better, how much better you might be.
Oh, it has the potential to be better. And I think it is at this point. You don't know till you go racing, but for the laps we've been doing, and I've done some back-to-back things, and it's plenty good. So, like I said, you don't know till you go racing, but at this point, I've got a lot of confidence in taking it racing.
When a rider like a Kyle Chisholm does this early development for a guy like yourself, but they're not you, how close can someone like that get it?
I would say they can get it 90% of the way there, somewhere in that neighborhood, but the last 10% is fine-tuning from the rider. You know, riders' styles are all different, and everyone likes a different feeling. Certain riders, you know, like a front-end bike, and some riders like a rear-end bike. It's meaning whether you like to steer with the front or steer with the rear. So that's where you have to just really fit the motorcycle to the rider, and that's even more critical in the 450 class.
Right. I want to talk about Gilly for a second. You've contributed some of your success to him and having him with you this year, obviously, and in the past. With Gilly, do you believe it's more your comfortability with him as just a person, somebody you're actually comfortable with, or does he just have that much better understanding of suspension and how it works for you?
So this is kind of the same thing when I'm talking about setting up the bike in general with riders. Is certain riders like certain damping characteristics, and Gilmore knows the style of what I need in that area. And a lot of teams kind of just have a base, and they run that base with most of their guys. But if you can have a guy that tunes it specifically to your style and the way you ride, that's huge. That's a huge deal. And then can they make that style of damping work? Period. Make it rideable.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I knew more about it. I wish I had a Gilly in my back pocket because I'm terrible with suspension and understanding.
So I mean, yeah, and then we are, we're great friends off the track too. So it just makes it that much easier when you are working with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. I thought your answer would be. I heard recently that the way he got working with you was he was working for another rider, and I guess like maybe your mechanic at the time couldn't make it, and he filled in. Is that accurate?
We have to go way back to Geico Honda days.
Yep.
And he was actually my mechanic in 2013 during the summer, my practice mechanic. So, and we met him because he was over here with Dan Reardon. This actually goes before that also. That's how we met Gilmore. And then he was my practice mechanic for a summer. And then, but during all that time, he was also starting to do suspension.
Okay. So yeah, it worked out just right.
Yeah. Yep. But that's how we got to know each other on a personal level, was that 2013 summer.
Okay. Are you in Florida right now? Is that where you've been this week?
Yeah.
How do you like that? I know you've been at your place and that's generally your comfort zone, but spending a few days down in Florida with the boys, how's it going?
It's a great mix up for me. And it's really important for me to get on a track with a bunch of bikes. So it's really, that's critical to setting up the bike, especially a new one. So it's good for me to be here. I got to ride with the 250 guys a little bit and a little bit with Dylan. So it's been a good mix. It's honestly the perfect amount of time. And then next week I'm going to go to California. So I've kind of been bouncing around, but for me, it's like perfect scenario for developing this new motorcycle.
Does that help you pick the intensity up being with the other guys like that?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you can only do so much by yourself, and, riding with the guys, always brings that intensity up. So, yeah, it's fun being here, and it keeps the work days easier, I think, when you got a bunch of guys on the track.
Yeah, I would think so. I want to go back to this season overall. Supercross, if I'm not mistaken, I think you won by 9 points over Jason Anderson. Motocross was something like 7 points over Chase. Some of the tightest series we've seen in years. Is that more meaningful or fulfilling to you than, say, 2020? I think you won by like 25 points, and in 19 outdoors, you won by like almost 60 points, if I'm not mistaken. Does it matter to you how much you win by, or what's it feel like?
Well, I'll say the motocross one was literally down to the wire.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was last moto. All of it's on the line. So that one itself was a much more of a pressure cooker situation. I mean, that was the gnarliest, championship battle I've been in, period, to the end. So, to get it, was special that way. I mean, Supercross, yeah, it was close, but I didn't even race the last race. So it's a little bit different. I mean, I was stressing because of my knee, even in Denver, but, that one, I felt like I cruised more than motocross, but motocross, man, wow, we pushed each other to the end. It
was so exciting to watch. Yeah, that Paula, man, and it just felt like poor Chase. He just kind of fell apart there at the end. And I'm sure you've been in situations like that. It's so much pressure and everything has to be perfect.
It is. I mean, that's, those are those scenarios, man. And it's tough, it's tough. I feel like, I probably had the upper hand on him just because I've been in those situations before and I'm older. So, and I kind of was thinking that during that day. So it helped me with my confidence for sure.
Yeah. And I bet a guy like him, it was probably good for him in the end, because now he kind of knows that feeling. Like if he had just went out and won it, maybe it would have come not too easy, but to have that feeling as a learning lesson.
Well, yeah. I mean, you always learn from your failures. So, hopefully he doesn't figure out too quick if I'm done racing, but
yeah.
But yeah, man, that was a fun series to race.
I want you to kind of rate your competition a little bit. So I want to take Chase Sexton, Jason Anderson, Ken Roxon, Cooper Webb. Who do you feel like has the best racecraft of those guys?
Well, to be honest, it changes with the series. I mean, last year in Supercross, I give that to Jason. He was excellent in Supercross, but then in motocross, it was Chase. And then, I mean, those are the guys that I rank as my number one competitors for those series, and the other guys would fall in line that way. But when Cooper Webb is on in Supercross, it can turn into the same thing. I can't even position or put a number on Cooper or Kenny, for being number two. But like I said, Jason was obviously the guy in Supercross, and Chase was the guy that I had to battle in Moto.
Yeah, that's fair. Who's the most fun to race with? What guy do you just enjoy battling with? Or it might be a multiples.
The most enjoyable guy is, well, Ken and Chase. Let's just say I feel more comfortable around.
That's fair.
Just straight up. So, I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, I haven't really had too many run-ins with any of them, but yeah, man, I feel like I can trust those guys. Maybe I shouldn't be leaving myself out there like that, but that's how I feel.
All right, I like the honesty. If you could take one trait from each of them, do they have any traits that you'd like to have?
Yeah, well, last year I learned in Supercross that Jason is very good at the retaliation pass.
Okay.
So I'll be watching out for that this year. And then trying to think about the other guys. Well, and Kenny, I would say his strongest trait is early in the race. The guy can make passes so unbelievably quick, the first couple turns to the first couple laps. And he does that in motocross and in Supercross. And then Chase, man, he's solid every weekend too.
Okay. All right. I've got a buddy, one of my co-hosts actually, he's not here today, but he would like to know what would have to happen for you to line up outdoors this summer.
Well, what would have to happen? I don't know. I mean, I would just have to decide I want to go race it. And I'm still not at that point yet. And I'm sure Yamaha is running out of patience. But as of now, I would say there's a very high probability of me not racing motocross.
Well, that's going to work out for another question I have for you here in just a minute. But my next question is also from another co-host, Mark. He wants to know if you're human. Because we know Mike Brown. We know Mike Brown is not human, and we're wondering if you come from like the same planet as Brownie.
Oh, still winning races at 30?
Just you're. I don't know. You're just beasts. Like, it's just unbelievable what you guys do and the way you perform.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that we're making it longer in our sport for being at the peak. And our whole current group is getting a little bit older. And it's, at this point, age is only a number. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, we're definitely human. We're just very well trained at what we do.
Absolutely.
Repetition. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So my last question, which falls into the summer, if you're busy during the summer, this may not work out. Last time I had you on, we talked a little bit about Metallica and concerts. Dude, they're going on the road. They're going to be in Arlington in August with Pantera. You going to make it?
That I'll probably be down for. Yeah. I'll be checking those tickets out.
Yeah, I literally just looked a minute ago because I think I got to figure that out. So, yeah, Cowboys, Pantera back together, even though it's not really Pantera. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Did you get to do any shows during your downtime because you've had so much of it?
No. Nope. The only thing I got to go do was drive a car. But, and this year it felt like I never stopped, but I'm still I still don't feel too fried yet, so that's good. So I'm going to try to keep this thing going all the way through May.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you just mentioned the car thing, the Porsche deal. Do you think that's something you'd like to do post moto? Like maybe do some kind of racing series with four wheels?
I have interest in it. I have interest in it for sure. But here's one thing I know is all the guys that race those are really fast, and you obviously can't just jump in there and expect to be great. So it's a learning curve, but there's some translation from moto to cars, but at the same time there's not. So it's something fun. You got a lot of good speed, and yeah, man, it's something different.
Yeah, they say with age comes a cage. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, Eli, I took enough of your time, man. I appreciate you. I know you probably want to get back and chill out after a busy day, so thank you for spending some time with us.
Right on. All right, thanks, Darkside.
Okay, Eli, take it easy. We'll see you soon.
All right, later.
All right, bye.